I'm Chanel Dupree, and I reduce burnout, confusion, and isolation in foster care. I help you help families by sharing tips, frameworks, and insights as a former foster care attorney, a former social service administrator, as well as a current faith leader in my local church and a national foster care consultant. Listen, I want to invite you to be a part of a newsletter, Sinking Child Welfare, simplifying your navigation and confusion in child welfare. Why? Because this process is confusing, but it's so important, and it's important enough for us to collectively understand what's happening and how to be successful. Today, I want to talk about heart resilience. So, a part of the Sinking Child Welfare program is the 10 systems and the connection vision board. I have 10 systems that I've identified as being a part of the foster care system. And this is the thing with the foster care system. And sometimes just with life, we think that we have to do it by ourselves. We think that we're the ones who are solely responsible, and it's just not true. And it's also a recipe for burnout. When people feel alone, when they feel overlooked, when they feel underserved, when they don't feel like they have someone that they can rely on, it gets hard. And it's true in any system that you're in. And it's so important for us to dispel that myth. I remember I was in court and I was standing with my client, and the judge began to talk about all the things that my client needed to do in order to reintegrate with their child. And the judge went through some of the things, and ultimately at the end the judge said, you need to do this on your own. And I said, Judge, respectfully, I don't do it on my own. No one does. Like, no one parents on their own, and no one gets through hard times on their own, at least not well. So, this system that I've identified as heart resilience is the idea that everyone needs love, everyone needs family, everyone needs support. Everyone needs to build capacity. Everyone needs to have self-worth. And we have seasons in our life where our resilience is broken, where our heart is broken. And so, heart resilience is the idea that your heart can be broken at times, that you can go through heart wrenching and heart changing situations, but it can come back together again. It can be mended through making sure that folks are surrounded by the folks that will foster that heart resilience. I remember one time I was experiencing some hard times. And I walked into my church, and a mother in the church, she just looked at me and she just hugged me and she said, "It's going to be okay." She didn't know what was happening, but she just hugged me. And that was just life-giving for me in that moment. I needed that, right? I needed that hug. I needed that reassurance. I didn't necessarily need to talk about it. I just needed to have that encouragement. And I would venture to say that we've all been in that space where we just need someone who cares about us enough to just pause and say it's going to be okay. My challenge is that you would look at the space that you're in and ask the question, does your organization identify heart resilience as being a part of reintegration or stability or support for families? Because if it's not laid out, if parents and families don't realize that they need this, then it's a missing piece, and it's often a forgotten system. Sometimes we're so busy with like the compliance, you need a job, you need stable housing, you need income, you need all these different things. And yes, that's important. But what about when I'm going through a hard time and I want to use, who am I calling, right? What about when I'm proud of something that I've done? Who am I calling, right? And it can't be the people who are paid to be there, because they leave. It has to be someone who is within their ecosystem that either they have in the past or they're currently cultivating. But that piece, heart resilience, is so important. because our families have to have capacity to grow from where they are. They have to recognize that they're loved, that they're valued, and there have to be people in their lives that are able to push them to who they ultimately can be. Heart resilience. It's a forgotten but an important system in foster care. I want to just remind you to tap in and grab that newsletter. Would love to stay connected with you. And if this episode was beneficial, I would ask that you would share, like, and subscribe to this channel.